the chair of the U.S. Bishops' Pro-Life Committee slams the Democratic Party for abandoning Catholics. In an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, Cardinal Timothy Dolan wrote, "The needs of poor and middle-class children in Catholic schools and the right to life of the baby in the womb largely have been rejected by the party of our youth." He also wrote, "It saddens me and weakens the democracy millions of Americans cherish when the party that once embraced Catholics now slams the door on us." Cardinal Dolan, head of the New York Archdiocese, highlighted in his piece how pro-life candidates have no place in the Democratic Party, drawing upon one example. An esteemed pro-life Democrat in Illinois, Representative Dan Lipinski, effectively was blacklisted by his own party. Lipinski did narrowly win his Democratic primary last week. Jason Calvi of EWTN News Nightly with Lauren Ashburn went to Illinois and asked the pro-life incumbent what he thought of the hostility from his fellow Democrats and abortion groups.
There needs to be room for pro-life voters in the Democratic Party. About 25 to 30% of Democratic voters across the country are pro-life. And it's a shame that the party has some of the party have tried to push pro-life elected officials out, in essence pushing pro-life voters out of the party.
Lipinski went on to say isolating pro-life voters is bad for the Democratic Party, the pro-life movement, and the United States. Joining us now in our D.C. studio is Mallory Quigley, the Vice President of Communications for the Susan B. Anthony List. Mallory, thanks for being here this Holy Week.
Always a pleasure.
What did you make of Cardinal Dolan's op-ed in the Wall Street Journal? Were you surprised by that?
You know, I wasn't really surprised by it. What Cardinal Dolan wrote is very sad and all too true, that over the years, the Democratic Party has increasingly left Catholic voters behind, of course, on issues like the right to life. I mean, the support for abortion on demand paid for by taxpayers. I mean, that's just baked into the Democratic Party platform, but also on issues of caring for the poor and for education. It's a shame.
What do you think prompted this op-ed? I mean, as you mentioned, it's been over the years the Democratic Party has really abandoned pro-lifers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that sort of the height of Democratic Party institutional opposition to pro-lifers within their own party was really epitomized by the Illinois 3 congressional race and Congressman Dan Lipinski, who's a longtime pro-life leader. Yes. And the party as a whole really went out after him. I mean, he had two members of his fellow Illinois caucus endorse his opponent, who is truly was an abortion extremist with the backing of the trifecta, Planned Parenthood, NARAL, and Emily's List.
That was Marie Newman, yet Lipinski won. And I know the Susan B. Anthony List had a huge presence ahead of the Democratic primary. You were there with about 70 pro-lifers knocking on doors?
Yes, we had college students from Notre Dame, Franciscan University, and also Cedarville University in Ohio. And they were just completely fired up to talk about this stalwart pro-life leader with pro-life Democratic voters. And it was very encouraging to be talking to Democrats.
What were you hearing? You were there on the ground. How many people did you talk to and what were they saying?
Yeah, we had 17,000 people that we wanted to talk to, and some of those people we were able to knock on their doors 2 times. So we reached about 23,000 voters in the district. And we were talking to pro-life Hispanics. We were talking to pro-life voters who are very heavily involved with their local union. We were these traditional Democrat voter groups, and they were telling us, yes, we are opposed to taxpayer funding of abortion, and we support Dan Lipinski specifically because of his pro-life position, not despite of it.
In a way, these voters were reaffirming what Cardinal Dolan had said in this op-ed, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the Democratic Party is not going to make gains for some of the losses they've experienced in the last couple of election cycles if they continue on this extremist path. Somebody like Dan Lipinski, who's more centrist but is very true to the teachings of the Catholic Church when it comes to the right to life, is someone who can win in a place that's very left, like the suburbs of Chicago.
Right, absolutely. And just a reminder, the pro-life issue should be a bipartisan one.
And that it is winning for both pro-life Republicans and pro-life Democrats.
That's great to hear. Mallory Quigley of the Susan B. Anthony List, thanks for being here.
Yeah, happy Easter.